Hello everybody, Mr. Play Doctor here, and today we're gonna be talking about the shit show, which is Halo Infinite. If y'all know, Halo Infinite just came out with Season 2, and Season 2 is not all that. Like, Season 2 is lackluster at best. Like, people do not like Season 2 whatsoever. I ain't played Halo Infinite Season 2, but I just been hearing that Season 2 is really not a good update. Well, today's story focuses on a Halo Infinite player that got fined because he was talking negatively about the game. It was like an esports player went on Twitter, basically talked negatively about Halo Infinite Season 2, saying how the game is not it's still not to his standards, and he can't basically do his job because the game is ain't up to par. And plus, it ain't the only situation where a pro player been fined for speaking negatively about a game. I believe not too long ago, a dude named Optic Scumpy that played Call of Duty for a living actually got fined by Activision for talking negatively about the game. So it seems to be a trend with some of these esports developers where if you talk negatively about a video game, you can risk being fined because company get ass hurt because you don't continuously praise their games. Anyway, before we get into today's news story, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell, and leave a comment, positive or negative. The information I'm getting it from GameRant.com. Halo Infinite Pro fined for criticizing the game. The Halo Championship Series, which is partly ran by Microsoft and 343 Industries, is finding a pro player as they criticize the game. The Halo Championship Series 2022, the first season to be played on Halo Infinite, started this past December and will continue through 8 total events, ending with the World Championship in October. But just as Halo Infinite itself has struggled with various issues since launch, the Halo Championship Series had dealt with issues in small controversies too. The latest example has to be with the HCS place Tyler Spartan Guzzer, who recently claimed he was being fined for criticizing Halo Infinite. On May 4, Spartan made a series of posts on Twitter in which he strongly criticized the current state of Halo Infinite. Spartan described Halo Infinite latest update as the worst one yet, and that he cannot defend 343 anymore. Halo Infinite, according to Spartan, had become unplayable to the point where he can't even do his job. Further posts continue to aggressively call out 343 for what Spartan saw as an update demanding immediate fixes. A day later, Spartan posted that he being fined a name I'm not even going to try to pronounce. He gone to say that he not going to apologize to anyone and stand by everything he said. Spartan didn't mention any further detail about the fine, so it isn't clear what specifically led to the Halo Championship Series to make the decision, nor how serious a penalty Spartan was delivered. While it may appear that Spartan was fined for criticizing Halo Infinite, it's also possible that he had been penalized for the language and tone that he took in his criticism, and that could also have been fined not for the criticism itself, but for the way it was interpreted with other Twitter users. While responding to the comments, Spartan went on to tear on Twitter that day, and much of what he posted could be seen as conduct unbecoming of a professional player, whether it's criticism of Halo Infinite or not. It's important to keep in mind that Halo Championship Series isn't an independent venture. It's organized and run by 343 and Microsoft in a partnership with third-party company Esport Engine. While professional players are not being any means employers of Microsoft or 343, aggressively insulting the company behind not just Halo Infinite, but the HCS itself is a risky by any definition. A day later, Spartan posted that he being fined a name I'm not even going to try to pronounce. He gone to say that he not going to apologize to anyone and stand by everything he said. Spartan didn't mention any further detail about the fine, so it isn't clear what specifically led to the Halo Championship Series to make the decision, nor how serious a penalty Spartan was delivered. While it may appear that Spartan was fined for criticizing Halo Infinite, also possible that he had been penalized for the language and tone that he took in his criticism, and couldn't also have been fined not for the criticism itself, but for the way it was interpreted with other Twitter users. While responding to the comments, Spartan went on to tear on Twitter that day, and much of what he posted could be seen as conduct unbecoming of a professional player, whether it's criticism of Halo Infinite or not. It's important to keep in mind that Halo Championship Series isn't an independent venture. It's organized and run by 343 and Microsoft in a partnership with third-party company Esport Engine. While professional players are not being any means employers of Microsoft or 343, aggressively insulting the company behind not just Halo Infinite, but the HCS itself is a risky by any definition. Before I read Microsoft and 343 a new asshole, the article is kind of aggro when it comes to one thing. When you working for a company, you gotta maintain some kind of professionalism. That means if you're a pro player working for a company, you cannot just be using swear word casually. Like I can use swear word casually as I want, because for one thing, I'm not representing Microsoft. I'm not a representative of Microsoft. That means I can basically criticize Microsoft any way I see fit, if that either properly or rudely. I decided the rudely way because for one thing, I don't work for the company, and plus I'm not represented for the company, so I don't make them look bad. But the reason I do not show my face in most of my videos because most company will go back and look at this, and I do not want most company going back and look at my YouTube history. So that's why I do not show my face when I'm on YouTube, because for one thing, it's a risky and it's a stupid move to do, because yeah, companies just can go back and look at it and I'm not risking it. Unless I get like 1 million of subscribers and make this my full-time career, then I may think about it. But anyway, back to what I was saying. But anyway, now 343, if it ain't because he was using a lot of swear word and 343 gonna ban him anyway, like dude, do the same situation we had like with Call of Duty where a pro player get fined for they're discussing their opinions on a video game that they play. Like think about it. Like companies are so butthurt that they literally get upset where if you criticize a game and you're a pro player, they will actually fine you because, oh, the pro player being real mean. We want the pro player to be a fucking shield for a game, so we gonna find them so they shut up and just play and just be a positive representative for the game. Who cares that the game is halfway busted and there's literally no content? We want the pro player to make our money. We don't want to listen to their concerns. Like, dude, the pro players, they're a player too. Like, they play the game for a living. Like, if the game ain't good and the pro player gotta suffer through that, well, they kinda gotta suffer through the bullshit. And they can't speak on it because company gets so butthurt that they don't want the pro player basically rip their game a new one. Because let's trust me, if it wasn't because of all the cuss word he was using in his tweet, like I never read his tweet, I don't know what he said in his tweet, I just read what I read for the article, that his tweet did have a couple of naughty words in it. Well, I can see that, but if it didn't, it wasn't because of that, and you just didn't want him to criticize your game anyway, shame on you, man. Like don't get butthurt when a pro player calls you out for your bullshit. Like, dude, come on. If you don't want people to call you out for making a bad game, make one that is decent. Like Halo Infinite is a decent ass game, but problem is it don't got enough shit in it. Most people do not want to buy a game. Like Season 2, I heard from the most part, got a lot of bugs and glitches. And I ain't surprised because 343 right now looking like in a consummate studio that do not know how to make a game. And yeah, and they trying to silence criticism from this pro player. Now the only reason I'm giving 343 a benefit of a doubt right here because he could did like in a more professional way, like he had to, because he's part of a company. When you part of a company, you kind of gotta be a little critical. Like you gotta kind of censor yourself a little bit. because you are represented for that company. So I can understand that part. Like, he would use like a bunch of swear words in his tweet, then I kind of can see it. But it wasn't for. But it was just for him criticizing you. Shame on you. If you don't want people to criticize your game, make a better game. They go with a pro player. If a pro player have an issue with your game and they discuss it politely, you should not fine them just for bringing up issues with the game they try to improve. They basically got to play. Anyway, this has been Mr. Play Doctor with another video. I'm working on another top 10 video. By the way, this video gonna be basically like top 5 things I want to see in Modern Warfare 2. So be looking out for that when that drops. I'm currently working on it. So anyway, been Mr. Play Doctor. See y'all next time. Peace.